Hey everybody, welcome back to Darvanalee Designs Studio. For those that don't know, my name's Nicole Reed and today we're here for Flosstube episode 125, so let's get started. Well, good morning or good evening everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for taking some time out of your day and spending it with me while I do a little bit of prattling on about the things that I have stitched on in the past couple of weeks, which I will preface this with not a great deal. But we have stitched on 4 projects. We have a finish and we almost have another finish, which I'm very frustrated with, but anyway, we'll get into that. All right, I'm going to start with the first one, and that is, well, actually this is a little bit of a micro finish as well. Of course, I'm not doing the back stitching until last, although I'm probably regretting that decision after the experience I've had in the past couple of weeks. So I have finished the icicle stand, so I've got all the bits and pieces in there. I have not put in the nose because I did not have that color, and I need to get some more, so that doesn't help. So that aside, I've only got 2 stitches that I have to do in there. Other than that, all the stitching is done. I just have the back stitching to do in the cart and the word snow cones, and then there's some French knots which I will do at the same time because I'm using a hoop and I don't want the French knots to get damaged. But you can see here, this is what it's looking like. We've got this little section down on here, so the next part of this will be me mapping out the next one, which is Iced Coffee Cafe. That's what it looks like. It's just a little house, so we'll have 2 little houses down here that'll match up under here, and then we're getting close. We are getting close. I'm pretty happy with my progress that I've made. It's going to need a good bath after it's done. But other than that, I've just got the back stitching really to do, as you can see throughout. Like I did the first ones and they're fine. But as I was going, I noticed that like putting the hoop on and all that sort of stuff was sort of not doing it any good, so I thought I'll just wait to do the rest of it until I'm done, and I'll probably just do all that in hand anyway. But that is that one. So this week I will be moving on to this next section, and yeah, so we're making some good progress. I mean, of course I want it finished, but you know, can't have everything you want. All right, the next one that I made some progress on, and this comes down to back stitching, and I'm very frustrated with this. This is the little what do you call them, Steampunk Dalmatian that I'm doing. I love this, and I am making a progress on it with the back stitching. I have frogged out the back stitching so many times. Last night I made a little bit more of a dent in it, and I picked out a whole lot more, and then I put it back in, and then I picked it out, and then I put it back in. This seems to be the thing with this. It's really the first piece that I've ever done that's had this much back stitch in it. Normally it's just some words, or it's a bit of this, or it's a bit of that. You know, this actually has me outlining, and as you can see, I've got some shapes to do, so I'm gonna have to draw them in because let's just face it, it's not going well. I mean, it's going to be well worth it once it's finished, but right now it's not going well. But I'm happy with what I've got done now, and I'm thinking that I'll be fine. Like I'll do this section here next, you know, and then I've got these little bits and pieces that I've got to do up through the hat, and then it's pretty much done. The spectacles were driving me nuts. I just couldn't get it right. I still don't think they're right, but right now, how I'm feeling about it after last night's stitching and the night before that, the night before that, I'm just getting very frustrated with it. It's fine. I will do it. It's just my own perfection that I'm going for, and that's what's hindering me. But I'm okay. I will get it done. So yeah, this is probably the longest almost finished I've had, and I think that's why I hadn't finished it, because I was so put off by the back stitching. Because I mean, normally you're just going around, like around the ears and stuff, I had no problems. I'm good with that, right? It's there, it's filled in around the eyes is fine, the brim of the hat, around the hat, I'm good with. It's actually making things out of just the stitching, because essentially I'm making these goggles up here and the little bits and pieces sticking out. I already know how I'm finishing this and whatnot. Like, I've had the finish in mind for quite some time, but just doing the back stitch is driving me mental. A drawer I am not. You know, like, I can sketch out things and get a rough idea, and then I can go from there with my designing and stuff like that. But backstitch, yeah, no, not so much. Anyway, it is what it is. Hopefully next time you see this, it will be done. Okay, but just know, I'm going to also preface this project with it may get put in the naughty corner again, because but anyway, that's what it's going to look like when it's finished. It's coming along. I think it's fine. It's fine. I'll just, yeah, let's move on from that because it's frustrating. All right, the next one that I worked on is the flag sail. This is the version that I am doing, version 2, which is all the tiles. Now, I haven't really, I started up in this corner here. I've done a little bit of the grey, but I'm mostly just doing the tiles at the moment, because I was having a trouble with this one on how I wanted to proceed through it. So I thought about it and I thought, you know what, I think what I need to do is just do each tile on its own, treat it as its own little entity and treat it as a little micro finish. So this one hasn't really changed that much since the last time you've seen it. Let me just move this out of the way. So we have, I'm stitching this on 36 count. I'm using Silks for You threads in this one, and let me just grab the threads that I am using, because I know that this is a question that people will ask. So let me just grab these out for you. Grab my little bag. I'm in the process of making some more project bags. I've been a little bit slow with that. We've had a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on with tax and all that sort of stuff, trying to get my accountant to get himself sorted so we can get stuff. So the colors that I'm using is the light blue that I'm using is PR012, and that's what that looks like. So you can see some sort of variegation in that. It's not a great deal, but I just love the color of that, and I thought it was perfect. The dark blue that I'm using is what I'm using to stitch out the tiles. And as I said, I am stitching this, and I'm sorry about all my waist knots, but it is what it is. It's a work in progress. You're going to see that sort of stuff. That is, let me just grab it out. Where is it? A blue one. Come on. That one is PR065. Okay, and it's the Silks for You. And the red that I'm using is a PR023. And I've got several skeins of that, and of course I'm using the required DMC for the grey, which is 762, which is a little bit tricky on the white, I must admit. I struggled a little bit stitching some of those stitches, but you can barely see it. But we were talking about this the other day on my Stitch With Me, and I was saying that I think doing each tile on its own, it's not going to be so hard on the eyes doing the grey, because the grey is a little bit tricky, but it's going to look beautiful once it's done. So I'm pretty happy with my progress at this point. I think this week I put 100 stitches in, 146 stitches into it. I'm using Pattern Keeper. So I'm just right now, this is the section that I'm doing. So this is these two that I've already stitched, and then I've got these two squares out, these two, and this one. So my next move is not to move the hoop at this point, is just to finish in these. So my plan going forward is just to finish each tile. So every time I come in for a floss tube, and I'm pretty much just going to show you my progress as I go, because this is one of my focus pieces for the year. And basically I'm going to try and do a square, at least one square a fortnight, if not one a week, if I've got, you know, if I'm feeling really sporty and don't have a lot on. In the winter months I tend to stitch a little bit more because I don't tend to go anywhere or anything like that. So yeah, if you're chasing a needle minder, they are available in DDs handmade bags and more. That is my Facebook group where I sell hand-dyed fabric, project bags, any other bags that I'm making obviously, and needle minders and anything that I am creating in the background for sale. So yeah, you can go and check that out. The link is up down below. It just says where to get project bags. You can find that information all there. All right, so that is my little shameless plug there, but I'm pretty happy with the progress. I'm loving the variegation in the lighter blue that I picked. There is not much variegation in the way of the dark blue, which it doesn't really matter because that is just going to blend in. I probably could have done this border, like these borders, with 2 strands, but I'm just doing it with the 1 strand, so they stood out a bit more. They don't really stand out on the you can just make them out up in the white bits and section up here, but over here you can't make them out anyway. So I'm happy with that they're blending in, and we're going to start to see some red come in very soon, because I think I'm down to the red now. There's a little bit more grey to do. I'm going to try and endeavour, there's a lot of grey in here, so I'm going to try and endeavour get this one finished first, and then move on to this one, and then I'll come over to this, and then I'm just going to work my way around the flag and whatnot. So I'm hoping that by the end of March this section will be ready to be finished, and then I can move on to the next section. I just don't, the reason I'm using a hoop is because I don't have a I'd like to have a frame that was big enough to hold my whole lot of fabric, but yeah, I don't have that frame, so hoop it is. I could go and make a Q-snap for it and all that sort of stuff, but I haven't had a chance to get down to the hardware store. All right, the next one that I worked on, which happens to be my finish, so I do have a finish, and that is Cinnamon Stars. We have this one that has been sitting there patiently waiting to be finished. It did not take me long to finish. I finished this in one evening. I don't know why I was procrastinating. Well, I do, because I ended up getting the floss that I needed for it to finish it off. So that is what it's supposed to look like. And this is what I have. So yeah, we have a finish. Now, somewhere here I came down a little bit too low, so, and then once I realized that I had done all of this, and I thought, you know what, I'm not frogging it out, and so I just had to move this star, so I moved it over the chimney and it's good to go. The only thing that I will say is I feel like this spot here is a little bit vacant, so I'm thinking that I'm going to do one of these. I'll probably do this star and move that there. But for me right now, if I never get back to this, it's done. And that I have stitched everything that was on the chart. Yeah, I just don't know why this has got such a big space, because like I counted and it seems to be, like I checked this section here and it seems to be right. So I don't know, maybe I moved the house over a little bit, because the gaps between this, yeah, like I know I made a mistake in here. I know, because I think it was this one here or this one here meant to be up a little bit, and then that was going to travel up here and then come down, and that would have been fine. So I know that there's a mistake in here, but it makes no difference to the chart. Like the only reason you know about it is because I've pointed it out. But other than that, I think it just needs this one of these little stars will sit in here nicely, and I think that will just fill it out. So because all of this lines up down here, all of this lines up where the house is supposed to be, all that sort of stuff, and I'm like, have I made a mistake over here? It doesn't, like when I look at the chart, I can't see there's a mistake there. The counting's fine and all the rest of it. The only mistake I know that I definitely made was over in this here, which is fine. And I changed the colors up a little bit. Like you can see, it had some dark colors. Like it only had one that had a dark color, and I just went, you know what, the tiger's eye has enough of the colors that were in most of them, so I just used tiger eye in the center, and then I used this mulberry as the center little cross throughout that, and I thought, you know what, that's fine, that they are more my colors than what these colors are, and I'm happy with that, so I just left it at that. But yeah, that is essentially, that is a finish. I have stitched everything on the chart, so and I got my, you know, I got my floss for that one line of house that I needed to do, so I have that done now, which is great. So yeah, I'm really happy with how it's all turned out. So anyway, that's where we're at. And I am just going to call it done. As I said, I'll probably add that star in if it annoys me too much when it goes to framing, but it's only going to take me half an hour. It's not going to take me long at all. But yeah, I'm really happy with how everything's turned out with that, and it's another one off my whip list. So we started out the year with 30, we are now down to 29, and we have a few more that are pretty close to a finish, so I'm hoping that we will get them done. All right, so what I have done this week is basically just been working on the magazine and all that sort of stuff, but I'm going to grab you some of the haul that I got this week. Okay, so nothing too exciting. I've had this this in progress for a while. So I am doing the Songbirds Garden series, and I've just been slowly getting these charts. These I got, a friend of mine gave me for my birthday a couple of years back, gave me a gift voucher to 123 Stitch, so I grabbed those. So this is 1, 2 and 3, and I have started with Winter's Wisdom, but I didn't have all the floss. So when I got the sage, I got a few more floss as well, which are, let me just have a look, it's those ones there. So I already had these ones, and I've just been slowly kitting this up. So I got some teal forest, I got some Williamsburg red, I got some more coal because I needed to get more of that. I got some baked apple, I got crimson, I got some taupe because I'd actually used the taupe out of here. I got some snickle, is it snickly, I think it is how you pronounce it, which are beautiful colors. And then I got the Havana, and I got an extra sage because I went through the last one. I don't want to be caught out again, and there's a fair bit of sage in this series. So I've just been slowly but surely getting all the colors and whatnot. So I've gone through and ticked off what I had, and then I've just purchased what I needed. The same for this one, and I don't think I've done this one yet. So this is the next one that I'm going to start filling out. So I am doing this all in the fancy threads. So yeah. It's going to take me a while, but as I said, I'm not doing these in any particular order. I am just doing them because I'm actually considering putting these into a quilt. So I have actually already started this. I'm stitching this on 32 count. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's Winter Wisdom that I'm doing. No, maybe it's not. Maybe it's Merry. Yes, it's Mary that I'm doing. So I've started with number 2. So yeah, I thought that little wren was cute. So yeah, I'm just going to do them as I go, and in no particular order. But this is an even weave white I'm doing it on. I wasn't going to do it on a white, and then I thought, you know what, I might just do it and be done with it. But it's very bold on how it is, and sometimes, you know, when you make these fabric choices, you think that that's what you want to do it on, and then you start doing it and you start to second guess yourself. But I'm going to continue on because I can, with a white background, I can work with a lot of other colors to bring into it. You know, like I've got all these colors that are going to be in, and that's not all of the colors. You know, we've got some brighter colors in there. We've got that yellow, we've got the orange, we've got that deep red. We've even got a purple in there as well, and a light purple with light purplish pink. We've got a light green as well, and I think that these for the most part are going to work really well on the white. And you know, anything that doesn't look like pop out or whatever, I might just put a few back stitches. As much as I hate back stitch right now, I might put a few back stitches into that. But this is not coming into the whips. This is getting held off till probably next year. We'll see how we go, but for the most part I'm just collecting stuff for it. I had started this a couple of years ago. You know, if my whips start to get down, I'll start looking at bringing stuff in. I already know that I'm going to be replacing Snow Village as a whip, because I'll use that as a stitch with me once that's finished. And then basically what will happen is I'll replace that and with Farmhouse Christmas. So yeah, so I'm pretty happy with all the things that I've got done, including my little finish. Let's have a gaze upon that beauty one more time. But yeah, I am happy with what I got done. It's not a lot, but in the scheme of things, but I'm pretty happy with it. But as I said, that is all from me today. I've got no other haul. I've had no Stitchy Kindness or anything like that. I have no announcements or anything, except for that I'm probably going to do my floss tube for the foreseeable future fortnightly. If I stitch a lot during a week, then I'll obviously do a big I'll do a weekly one, but for the most part I think I'm going to do them as fortnightly. It just gives me a little less stress, little you know, a little bit more time to work on stuff and whatnot. I never thought for one moment that I was going to be super busy with no children here, but apparently that's how it works. I still have one child at home, but she's very rarely here. Like, she left at 7 o'clock this morning to go to work. I've got the rest of the day for myself, so yeah. But yeah, anyway, that is what I worked on this week. Thank you so much for joining me. Keep an eye out in the Facebook group for fabric to start going up, and project bags and all that sort of stuff. And as always, hope you get lots of stitches in, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.